Hey guys, this is Andy McCann, your host here on this podcast, which I'm looking for a good name still right now. I've changed the name to CF with Andy McCann or CF Garage maybe with Andy McCann or something. I'll probably change the name to Food, Fitness, and Finance. But anyway, my goal and the goal when I bring guests on or my kids to co-host with me is to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. And sometimes girls just gotta have fun, right? So my kids have just found that old Cyndi Lauper song and it's been playing nonstop. We just went to Camp Ocoee. I'm gonna give you some stories there and I'm gonna tell you how doing what we do has really helped us out, right? So anyway, first thing I'm gonna do is go through, does it always have to be food or can you use surgery or other stuff for getting a better body, losing that dad gut, etc. We're going to cover that first, and then I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff from Camp Ocoee. So using your fitness for fun. So here's some stories. I usually don't share these, but I thought it'd be interesting. Plus, I'm going to throw out an invite. Camp Ocoee brings everybody up on Labor Day and Memorial Day weekends for a family environment camp. So they turn their summer camp into a family camp, and I'm going to invite all of you guys out there with us. They have, well, I'll get to it. Okay, so the real question of the day, and this question actually came from the Survival Podcast. I do expert counsel with them, so every Thursday he'll throw a couple of us together on a podcast episode. And the question was, how do I lose this dad bod or gut? Is it all food? When does surgery come into play? So I'm going to cover that with you guys first because that's interesting. And you know what I do. I am an engineer, so I love science. You guys don't know that part about me that much. I'm an engineer, super dorky. I believe in the Bible where it says the geek will inherit the earth. So I went all geeky. And it's true. If you look at Elon Musk or Zuckerberg or whatever his name is, you look at all those guys, Amazon, the geek are inheriting the earth. So go be geeky, make that money. So I'm into science. I'm into technology. I love that stuff. But I'm also into doing stuff the hard and right way. Now, I'll admit, I don't like to garden. Gardening sucks. I raise some chickens. That's easy because they're like cats. You throw out some food and they'll always stay around and they have a lot of place to go find their own food. If you don't feed a cat, he'll go find food. It's awesome. So chickens will do the same sort of thing. And then every day, almost every day, the hens will lay me an egg or, per chicken. So we usually get something like 3 to 6 eggs, depending on what's going down. Right now, a lot of my chickens have grown up, or the chicks have grown up, and so they're becoming hens and they're becoming roosters. And you can't have that many roosters because 1, they don't lay anything, and 2, they do a lot of mating and they can kill a bird just because they have to jump on their back and do the thing. So it's going to be harvesting time. So if any of you guys want to learn how to harvest a rooster and then take it home and eat it on your own, man, I'm happy to teach you and I'm going to use your labor. It's not really that hard. It is kind of weird, but I can process a chicken or a rooster in about 30 minutes. And yes, rooster tastes like chicken. As a matter of fact, chicken is just the name of the animal. Then you have a hen and then you have a rooster, right? So when they have meat birds, they don't care what they are because they're dead before 6 weeks are up, right? They're already at their full fat weight and they're processing. So you eat roosters all the time. They just don't lay eggs, so people like to get rid of them. And they make, that noise. Anyway, okay, so a little off track. Yes, it's going to come down to your food. You got to have food. You got to change your habits. You got to change what you're doing. If you don't have change, then no surgery or no pill or whatever is really ever going to work. So I think right now that Ozempic is like $1,000 a month to take these pills and it's shedding weight. The side effect of it is you may die, apparently. They're now saying there's these crazy warnings. Is it right to take? Man, I don't know, right? What is the side effect? So I know people out there that have really bad knees or hips. And they're like, hey, you've got to lose a lot of weight or you're going to have a new knee. So what's worse? Take a pill that sheds a bunch of weight that you may or may not have a side effect on, or going under the knife where they are definitely going to cut your knee out and you're definitely going to get a new knee. I don't know. That's up to you to make that call. My dad has got 2 brand new knees and he's like, yeah, this worked pretty good. So I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with people taking medicine. I am also okay if you go under the knife and get fat cut out or liposuction. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Nip tucks, all that stuff. Man, if it gives you the whatever. Jamie Thomas, help me out with that word. It says psycho something. Text it to me. I don't know. If your brain and your heart get to a better place because you had an outside change that you could pay for, man, I love this quote I stole from a sci-fi book. When you have a problem that money can solve, it's not a problem. So solve that problem first. Put some money in there. Of course, you may go into debt. That's a different problem. Money doesn't solve that problem. But if you need that easy first step, then let money, which is hard work done a different way, pay off, right? You've got money. If you have money, this is a great reason to have money. You can pay someone to do that. Hey, I would like you to chop this down. I'd like you to cut that out. I'd like you to nip and then tuck this. I'd like you to give me these pills, whatever. Would I do it? No, but I don't have a problem with it, right? So I tore the meniscus of my knee. I went to the doctor. Doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. He said, yeah, it doesn't look terrible. If you want to let it go and see what happens, that's fine. So a surgeon said, I'm not going to cut you, probably because I have my own insurance. I pay for it myself, which means it's super crappy. And he's like, yeah, I can't bill you enough, so I'm not going to do it. I don't know. Then I went back like maybe 4 years later and said, hey, how's it looking? It feels pretty good. They're like, yeah, actually, it doesn't look that bad. If it doesn't bother you, I would do nothing. The only thing I did was try those PRP shots, the platelet-rich plasma. So they draw your blood, they put it in some sort of centrifuge or something, and it spins out a part of your blood that they then suck back up in a needle and then take... It was actually kind of weird. Took this monster needle and stuck it through the top of my muscle, through the knee somehow, and then injected it. And it was like filling it with pavement or something because all the edges were smoothed out. I'm like, wow, this feels great. I don't know if it did anything because it still hurt. You know, a week later, all that stuff would be absorbed by my body and it still hurt. But it's been, I don't know, it's probably been 10 years and I'm pretty good. The only weird parts I have, if I do a lot of box jumps or double unders, I do feel it. Anyway, I'm not opposed to it. I just didn't do the surgery. I wanted to see what would happen if I did it another way. I don't have any time demands or extreme issues on the other side. So if you're that type of person who they say, hey, you weigh, I don't know, I'm making stuff up here, but let's say someone weighs 400 pounds. They're like, if you don't drop this weight really fast, you're going to need new knees. Well, I mean, 400 pounds with new knees is probably never really going to work. So if you lose the weight and you still need the knees, well, that's not great. So could you pay for a doctor, whether surgery or drugs or whatever, and have them do their thing so that you're down by the weight, right? So the weight's no longer the problem. Man, sure, do that thing. I don't care. You're never going to get judged by me in that regard, right? I want you to be the best version of you. And if money does it, man, whatever. Get some money and make it work. That's what money's for. If you die with a bunch of money, you're an idiot. Well, I guess if you want to leave some to your family, that's great. But use that money. That's why you're getting it. Okay. The problem comes when you do those surgeries and then you don't do the work on the other side to take care of it. So I've got a couple friends who've done multiple different ways of these things. So they've paid for drugs and physical interventions, and it seems to be a 50-50 crapshoot. You know. And I don't even know the right answer. I wish I could tell you. I've done a survey of my buddies, and this is actually what happened. It really just comes down to when I visually inspect them, they look like they're gaining weight over time. And you give them enough time, and they've gained weight. And you're like, yeah, you're on the track to gain the weight back. You're not my kid. You're not my wife. I'm not really going to tell you that because you didn't ask. If you ask, I will tell you, man, that's a bad thing about me. I think I've got a bit of I know I read people wrong. Sometimes I've worked really hard on it. And sometimes people are like, no, you're great with people. It's because I'm fooling you. I'm trying really hard to not be who, but God made me. And I'm a bit too much on the nerd side. I think back in the 80s, they didn't really have words for it, but I'm sure there was a lot of definitions they had for me when I was a kid. I'm mildly okay now, but anyway, if you ask me a question, I probably still will give you an honest answer. So do not ask me unless you want an honest answer, because that's just how I'm wired. So don't ask. I would probably look at you funny and think about it. And that's me trying to decide, wait a minute, are they asking seriously, or are they just like need a hug and a let go or whatever, right? I don't know. So don't ask unless you want to have a real conversation. That being said, I am in full cheerleading mode. If you need a cheerleader, just let me know. I ask my kids all the time, am I hug daddy or am I solve daddy? So you just let me know, am I hug coach or am I solve coach? I guess. I don't know. I am here for you. But I know that it seems like if your food is not adjusted to some degree, I'm going to have to drink some coffee real quick. Hold on to get some hot coffee down my throat. Because Charlie says, Charles, quit clearing your throat on the mic. I should have used technology to pause you there, but you can just enjoy this homemade coffee. When I say homemade, it means I used my money that I made at home to go to the store to buy it so I could make it here at the house. It's homemade. I made it from home. Home money. So, no, I don't grow coffee beans. Actually, that'd be kind of neat. I'm actually eating off all the reserves of my wife. She got into this one coffee and she bought a ton of it at scale because it was cheaper, and then decided she didn't want to drink it anymore. So that's how they get us. I never do those season passes. I never do season passes because I never use it. It's like Six Flags. If you just come 1.5 times, it'll pay for itself. We never go more than once. So I just pay 1.5 times to go once. It never works for me. Costco works for me though, but I don't buy in bulk. I'll just buy what I need and I'll just show back up. Anyway, you got to change what you eat. The easiest way to change what you eat, the easiest way is go hire Coach Laura. She'll talk to you and work with you, and you'll figure out what to change. The next way is to log your food and have somebody else look at it. The way after that is just keep an eye on it and stop eating stupid stuff. Maybe even listen to the podcasts. I got a couple in here about food. Go down that road, right? Okay, so should you do surgeries? Man, that's up to you. Should you take drugs? That's up to you. I'm a 50-year-old man, almost 51. I don't take any drugs. I don't do anything. And this is where I want to go next with this podcast or video is Camp Ocoee and having fun. If you're not having fun with your fitness, then what are you doing? Who gives a crap if you are healthy and fit? If you have nobody that you love in your life, no friendships, no friendship and fidelity, right? That those bonds, then what the heck is the point? You're just living a lonely life, and that really sucks. If you're down on that and you're like, man, I don't really have that many friends I can count on, I am your guy. I like to help people. If you need help, you let me know. We do D&D night. We do workouts. We're gonna have a board game night. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work yet. I'm still trying to, it's like, what is it, the 28th of May, and I still haven't put that into practice. So it might be something that happens in the fall. I don't know, but it's out there. Don't be alone. Also, don't be not fit if you plan to have all these loved ones and be around. You have to mix it up. So one thing we do every year, I've been doing this since I was 12. We go to Camp Ocoee. It's a YMCA camp up in Ocoee, Tennessee, right off the Ocoee River in Lake Ocoee. Actually, it's not called Lake Ocoee. There's a real name for it. It's the town that they flooded, but everyone just calls it Lake Ocoee, and I think even the maps have started changing their names to just call it Lake Ocoee. Not Oconee, which is in Georgia. It's Ocoee. It's 2 hours north of Woodstock, so it's a pretty easy drive. We show up Friday, we leave Monday for like $175, something like that. You could stay in one of their cabins, and some of the cabins are super nice. Some are like normal summer camp cabins, but they're pretty good still. You could stay in a cabin for $175. They feed you the entire time. They have all these fun events with counselors out there learning their jobs. I mean, that is, in Memorial Weekend, it's kind of a learn thing, so they're sort of figuring out what to do, which is okay. Their kids are safe. There's all the stuff you can imagine. If you're watching the video, you're seeing it. There's some water slides. There's a banana boat. There's climbing towers. There's archery and BBs. I mean, anything you could think of for a summer camp. Well, if you went to summer camp, anything you can think of. All the outside stuff, canoeing, kiwi, kayaks. You can even like set up your own going down the Ocoee River. They've got, well, you can pay for paintball. So they have paintball. You can go out and do that. That's the only thing that costs extra. Typically what we do is a lot of the fun outdoors activities, and then there's some sort of campfire thing that they do kind of at night, and then we go back to the lodge and we do a bunch of board games. So I'm a huge board game fan. This time around, let's see, you guys have been meeting Justin Lebrec. He's not new to the gym, but he's back. He was here in like 2008 and through maybe 2012, and he's back to the gym. He's been going with us for a very long time. His wife, Wendy, and their 2 kids come up. And then Randy Skeen, his wife Danielle, and their daughter came up this time as well, and they had a blast. So I will say this, if you're a 50-year-old man with no family coming, it's not that much fun. If you've got kids, it's a blast. If the kids are like 2 years or younger, it's probably not that much fun. If they are older than that, then you're going to have a blast. Our kids are all teenagers, and we just basically say, hey, stay alive, wear a vest, we'll see you some other time. Actually, I don't even know if I told them that anymore because they're like, how old are they? 22 down to 16-ish. So yeah, they're pretty much all on their own. You can walk everywhere, or there's times when you can drive, but it is a blast. So some of the things we do there, 1, this is a recruitment video, you should join us. And 2, it's just stuff you could do with this health and fitness, right? Okay, so what could you, or let's talk about recruitment. They've got these cabins. Actually, let me see if I can find a picture of the camp, and you guys would be able to see what the camp photos, camp program, camp electives. I'm on, so this is a video as well for all you podcast people. And about us, how about that? Building future, needs, history. I don't see it. I know they've got one. Well, whatever. Camp is pretty big. There's some pictures of it. And of course, it's right on the lake, so they have lakefront. You could actually even bring your own boat. So if you have a boat, bring it up. You're welcome to dock it off to the side and then use it all day long. The bad part about that is when you bring a boat, which I've had friends do, you become the driver of the boat. And you just spend all day driving the boat and you miss all of the other fun. Though there are some really cool rope swings out there, which you could get to with a canoe, but it's quite the effort. Having a boat makes it so much easier. Okay, so they've got these cabins. Yeah, let me pause this and find it because I think it'd be interesting to see. I like to think myself savvy with the old internet, and it took me quite some time to find their camp map. But you can see this on the video. In the wording, the podcasty, I will paint you a beautiful picture. So the lake is to the south, and they've got 1, 2, 3 peninsulas that the camp kind of revolves around. The far left one is the Johnson Retreat Center. It's more the corporate side, so you're going to get cabin. There's less cabins. There's only 4 cabins. And then there's a Wasson Lodge. But basically, it's glamping. So you're going to have air conditioning, TVs, Wi-Fi, a refrigerator, possibly a stove. I think there's a stove in every one of them. So anyway, it's really just renting a cabin like you would do in the woods, right? Then in the middle of the camp, they've got the dining hall. And it's where the waterfront is. So you can do all the fun stuff there. There's a couple of bridges that connect. And then when you look on the other side of camp, there's 2, 4, 6, 8... 10, 12, 14, 16, that's about right. 16 cabins that can be rented out. You can mix and match, so they hold like between 10 and 20 kids a piece. So you could put a family, 2 families in there and kind of mix them up. The Wasson Lodge has 7 rooms that we usually rent out and mix the kids up. So usually make like a teenage boy room and a teenage girl room and let them all just stink themselves up. And then the parents get their own rooms. But it's a pretty big camp. And yeah, so they have some. Let me see if I can find another picture of this. Interesting pictures. I may not be able to find the pictures, but yeah, I'm too slow on these pictures. So this is the Wasson Lodge. You can see it's pretty big. I'll try to click through some of those pictures. It's got a pretty cool meeting room area or foyer, which we do all of our gaming. And you can see, yeah, so the lodge has got not only all that stuff I just mentioned, but they have 2 ovens, 2 dishwashers, 2 refrigerators, because I assume a lot of people are going to be there. There is a fireplace, but you never really need to use that fireplace when we go because it's so dang hot. You can rent this at any other time. Matter of fact, Evie and I are going up for an adventure race, and they've rented out that side of the cabin, or maybe the entire camp. Actually, it can't be the entire camp because they have summer camp. They've rented out a bit of it, and so we can stay in one of the rooms or whatever. So it's a beautiful place. You guys would love it if you love the outdoors. If you hate the outdoors, then just know that it hates you as well. The other cabins all look like this. Basically the same thing, but smaller. And there's usually only 2 rooms for each of the cabins. And so, let's see, these 2 rooms, it has probably it's either a king or a full-size bed, I can't tell, and then 2 bunk beds. Anyway, there's my sales pitch. It's a lot of fun. You look at it, and I'm going to tell you what we do there that's really cool. So we will go to Camp Ocoee and hit this climbing tower. And so I've been going for a long time, and they know me usually. And they have this climbing tower. One is the easy side, which is just like maybe like a 70% tilt, so anybody can pretty much go up. Then they got another side, which is straight up, and it has some wavy bits. It's not too terrible, but it is daunting. And then there's the hardest side. They've got a 70 pitch the wrong way, so you're hanging out into the open. And then they have this reverse massive stair step where you have to climb over these ledges to get up and over. And every year, I'm like, I will do the ledge once again. And so we'll get out to the ledge, and the last ledge, you're basically just hanging on with your fingers, and you really have to do like a muscle up to get it going, and then either get crazy and reach high for another handhold, or get your foot stuck up on this handhold, right? And so I'll usually have a bunch of people go in front of me, the dudes all taunted up, and they're like, yeah, let's do this thing, yeah. And so I know nobody's gonna make it. It's impossible for somebody who's like above 40 that doesn't have the weight ratio of a teenager to make this thing work. Maybe not impossible, but highly improbable, and nobody ever really makes it. So the camp counselors and I have a deal. And they know when I'm at that spot and I do the muscle up, they are going to jump off the back of the railroad ties so that their weight adds to my weight in a negative fashion, or I guess positive, right? So they're reducing my weight by jumping off. So all of a sudden I go from a 165-pound man trying to do a nasty kipping pull up to a muscle up kind of bar stricties whatever, to a guy that only weighs 50 pounds but still has the same muscles because they've jumped off the back end. And it's great. So maybe not 50 pounds, maybe it only reduces like 20 pounds, but it's awesome. Sometimes what they'll do is have two counselors grab on to the one that's actually belaying, and when they jump, they're pulling down, so I get even more. Nobody's watching that because the magic's happening at the other side, so everybody's looking, and I'm like, oh no, I can't do it, and I make a big thing out of it, like, oh, I'm telling you my secrets, I know, but oh no, it's so tough, I'm dangling. One hand will drop, and then I'm hanging there, and I'm like, oh no, I'll get it. I'll get the other hand back up, and I'm like, okay, ready, and then I'll do a swing, and then I start to pull, and they jump, and everyone's watching me, and then and I'm up, and they're like, oh, he did it. I'm like, of course I did it. I got two teenagers pulling down on the rope on the other side to lift me up. But it's pretty funny. I can make it most all the way without having them help. But then the whole money thing comes back into play. Pay them $20, they'll help you out. Or just be in good relationship with them, right? So I am fit enough and I eat to the right amount of food that I can do this. Now on the food side, yes, it's a camp and they serve camp food and it doesn't meet my needs in terms of food for sure. So I end up eating a lot of salad bar and tuna and other stuff. I bring a lot of food too just because I'm not going to push my food needs and desires onto somebody else. It's what I do, and that's, it's my fault, my problem. I'll bring my own snacks and take care of myself, right? So they also have, besides the climbing tower, they've got archery, which, anybody can do that. It's pretty fun. Usually the kids spend a lot of time down there. Are BB guns. They used to have 22s, but now it's just the BB guns. And if your kids have never been outside or shot anything, or if you haven't, shame on you. Get outside and do something. But it's great. The gear, it's camp gear, so it's not like you're going to a $40,000 camp environment. You're spending $175. You're going to a Y camp. So it'll work. It's not awesome, but it's going to be a great introduction to all those things. So you'll have a blast, and so will your kid. If you don't bring a kid, that's kind of weird. Bring your kids because it's a whole lot more fun. Probably what I'm going to do is get my coaches to come up, and maybe what I'll do is reserve the retreat center myself. All the rooms, and then pay for them to bring them, their spouses and their families up so we can have maybe a coach retreat out there. It'd be kind of fun. So you guys, you members that are listening, go to campocoee or ymcacampocoee.com and look at their Labor Day camp and get on the waiting list if there is one. Maybe you can get straight in there, but it's a great time. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a blast. The other things they've got this area where they're going to do 9 square, which I'm not super tall, but even I can play 9 square. They got a gaga ball section, and then on that same area, they usually do like some kickball or some dodgeball or something, this open field. On the 9 square, it's kind of fun because I am one of the few dads out there like working it. Some dads just stand there tall. I am moving around, jumping, turning, all that stuff, and can last quite a while without having to take a break. So it's obvious the fitness that we do, and we're using it for something. Something's different between us that are doing CrossFit or staying in shape and being parents. So we are actively involved in what our kids are up to, and it's great. So yes, I will totally slam my own children with the ball if I can. Unfortunately, two of them are taller than me, so I can't slam the boys. The girls are ripe for getting slammed. There's this water slide you're looking at right now. It's actually pretty steep, kind of scary. Be careful when you go down that one. It goes really fast. They do have a trampoline in the water that's got a big floater around it, and then a blob on one end and a rolling pin off the other. And so we get up there and play King of the Mountain. And of course, being healthy and fit helps when we play King of the Mountain. I can stay up there until, the kids get crafty and team up and knock me out. It's a blast. You'll have a great time. You'll be able to use all this health and fitness and not just be healthy and fit, but see it in practice. Get out there, get your knees dirty, or get your pants dirty. We have a saying in my family, don't be a bystander, get your pants dirty, right? So get involved, be active, say, yes, I'm in. Well, we brought some of our friends, the Lots. They were up there, and it's great to see. So one of them is going to college this year, so she just graduated, and she made a cool decision. So I guess the segue here is you can be who you want to be. You just have to decide. Do you want to be in healthy and fit? Do you want to use your fitness, right? So she decided, I'm normally shy, and I'm tired of being shy. I'm about to go to college, so you know what? I am going to take that shyness off. Even if it makes me weird out, I'm going to do it anyway. And seeing her out there talking, interacting, and being, it was just a normal kid, right? Or 18-year-old, but it was awesome. She was out of her shell. She's asking questions. She's making new friends with people we didn't even know, and I've been there forever. So you have to make a decision on who you want to be. You're the guy that sits on the, or lady, your dad or mom or whatever, that sits on the sidelines and let their kids do their stuff and you don't really get to be involved. Or are you going to take charge of your life? Yeah, maybe I'm going to wrap this back around the beginning. Maybe it starts with some surgery to get you a kickstart. Sure, fine. But unless you have actual change, it's not going to last. So you actually have to make the change in your life so that you can sustain or aim towards the goals that you want. Because if you keep doing the same things you always do and you expect different results, that's the definition of insanity. And man, I can't believe I couldn't remember that earlier, but there it is. Definition of insanity. So don't be insane. Be on the sane side. Do something with your life. Do something with your coolness. Okay, other things I wanted to mention. We have some stuff coming up. I'm going to pull up another screen. Let me pause this and find it. Oh man, I might have been paused that whole time. I hope I wasn't paused that whole time and just blew that entire, let's see, what are we at, 25 minutes? That sounds about right. When technology goes awry, it's because I, the user, clicked the wrong button. Okay, so some stuff coming up. Right now is May 28th. I'm ahead of schedule in making this podcast. This will come out in probably a month, so I got to remember that. We've got, let's see, the first stuff coming up on June 3rd, our summer strength for students will start. There's a younger program which will focus on basically movements and some CrossFit patterns. That'll be earlier, and then at 11 o'clock will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the summer strength, and then Tuesday, Thursday, we're actually doing CrossFit with them. So that's coming up for you. Then we have got, actually, let me find the other email, because I think that actually had everything I wanted to list for you. Ah, yes, this is much better. Okay. So on 6-3 summer strength, 7-4 is 2 morning. So that's going to be 7-4 is July 4th. We're only going to have 2 morning classes. Just be aware of that. The week of 7-8 through 12th, most of the coaches are on vacation together. This is the problem I'm trying to solve. If you're interested in becoming a coach, let me know. It could be to any level. I'm just going to fill in whenever it needs to be filled in, emergencies only, or I'm on the schedule 1 day a week, or I'm on the schedule for like 6 classes, whatever. I've got classes. We can make it work, right? I need more coaches to make the business a little bit easier to maintain. When one coach goes, it's not that bad. When 3 coaches go, it can on vacation, it can be pretty terrible. So that week, 3 coaches are gone. So I will be shrinking down the schedule a bit to make it all work. Then on 7-26 right now, Natalie says that's when my cousin's wedding will be. That's a big party. It's like a wedding party. It's kind of fun. Not kind of. It is a lot of fun. There's dancing, there's cake, there's drinks. In the fall, Laura will be doing a Whole30 nutrition program. On September 21st, we got Hot Shots. It's a competition that Jamie runs, and it's got a new format. On October 14th, we've got Bring a Friend, so we'll do that all week long. And October 26th is possibly our Halloween party. In Thanksgiving, maybe we'll do a Thanksgiving party. And then on December 14th is possibly the holiday party, so a Christmas party. We're not sure which one we're going to do. We're going to hold all those for right now, and as it gets closer, we'll figure out which one. Sometimes doing a Christmas party is a pain because everybody's doing a party. So, I don't know, maybe we can be different and do it at a different time. I would love for some of you guys to meet other people in different classes. It would be good for all of us, right? All right, so that is the big stuff. Also, some things that have come up for the gym. Let's see. If you are using a credit card, please switch to the ACH. It costs us about half as much to process a bank transaction than it does a credit card, so please switch that over. If you are buying FitAid just bumped their prices up, so of course that price will be passed directly back to you. Thank you all of them for upping prices. They actually went up quite a bit, so I think it was almost like $2 per can. I'm like, well, that doesn't even make any sense. So potentially they're about to sell to somebody and they're just putting lipstick on the pig and raising prices to show bigger revenue so they can sell the company. I don't know. We may be getting different drinks. We shall see. What else is going down then? Oh, and we're moving off of UpLaunch into Wodify. If you haven't downloaded the app, please download the app. There was a communication that went out, so we have an in-app chat. So if you're watching this, you can see on my cell phone, you can get on the app and go to the in-app chat, and you'll see that I already sent everyone a little hello message just to let them know it's there. And then they have a text option where I can send texts. Possibly we'll just be using the in-app for everybody that's a member. But if you have the texting turned on, then you'll get that. About half of us have the texting turned on. You don't maybe need it, but maybe we'll use it to send out communications. I'm going to be using it a lot more for emails, so you'll see that. I like it because there's less fluff to it. There's no pictures and all that. It's just, boom, here's my texts, and I am boring like that. So it'll be the normal format on Thursday. You'll get a podcast with some more information if you want to listen to it, just like this one. And then some other stuff that's coming up. I think in the next one coming up that you'll have gotten that email way in the past, but it's going to talk about our coaching needs. So if you're looking at becoming a coach, let me know. We will help you. We don't just throw you to the wolves. I'm going to actually like train you so that you understand what's going on. Not just me, but Jamie, Danny, and so forth. So we will train you. Also, CrossFit provides a lot of good resources to help you out. So it's not like you don't know what's happening. Now, I will say this. If you've only been doing CrossFit for a year, you probably don't want to be a coach. If you're doing it longer than that, then yeah, you probably do want to be a coach. You probably can. You can help us out. You can be part of the team. It's a lot of fun team. And I operate this business in the way that it should be fun. So if you find that it's not fun, then don't do it anymore. That's okay. If you have to take yourself off the schedule, you just hit delete. Someone else will fill in. So this gives us an opportunity to have more people filling in, especially when people go on, or coaches go on vacation. All right, guys. If you need me, you know where to find me. If you're a member, you just text me, email me, whatever. If you're out there in the world and you're listening to this, thank you. And I hope we're hitting some valuable stuff for you. You can find me if you need help, Andy@CrossFitGarage.com. I'm happy to help you for a little bit, but I'm probably going to point you to a gym or something in your area because it's always better to be helped in person. If you're in Woodstock and you're not a member, come on by. We are happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. All right, this podcast is trying to teach you how to lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. Y'all be good.